In what can only be described as one of the most cringe-worthy moments in royal history, Prince Harry stood before a silent crowd at the opening ceremony of the 2025 Invictus Games in Vancouver, Canada, only to be met with a lack of applause following his speech. The Duke of Sussex, known for his dedication to veterans through this event, was visibly taken aback by the frosty reception. To make matters worse, his wife, Meghan Markle, delivered what many are calling an embarrassingly tone-deaf introduction, further cementing the couple's apparent disconnect from the realities of public sentiment and the core mission of the Invictus Games. From the outset, the atmosphere at BC Place was electric, not with support, but with an undercurrent of tension. Prince Harry, who has always been a passionate advocate for the Invictus Games since its inception in 2014, seemed to expect the usual ovation that marks his efforts. Instead, the silence was deafening, a stark contrast to the applause he's accustomed to, suggesting a possible shift in how he and his initiatives are perceived. This could be attributed to various factors, including his and Meghan's public statements and their controversial departure from royal duties, which have not always been met with public approval. Meghan Markle, on the other hand, took the stage with an introduction meant to honor her husband's work but fell flat in execution. Her speech was described by onlookers as a self-centered narrative rather than a tribute to the veterans and their sacrifices. Instead of focusing on the athletes' resilience and bravery, Meghan's words seemed more like a personal endorsement of her husband, laced with anecdotes that felt out of place and time. This approach not only alienated the audience, but also highlighted a perceived disconnect between the Sussexes and the veterans they claimed to champion. The lack of applause wasn't just a momentary lapse, but a reflection of a broader sentiment among some attendees and observers. Posts on X from the event's date noted a palpable discomfort in the crowd, with some attendees even expressing their frustration through muted reactions or subdued clapping. This silent protest was perhaps a response to the couple's increasing focus on their personal brand over the essence of the Games, which are meant to celebrate and support those who have served, not to serve as a platform for personal gain or publicity. Moreover, the choice of Meghan to speak, especially given her history of polarizing public appearances, was seen by critics as a misstep. Her involvement in past events has often been met with mixed reactions, particularly when her actions or statements seem to overshadow the event's purpose. This time, her speech was perceived not as supportive but as an attempt to center the narrative back on herself and Harry, rather than the athletes who were there to be celebrated. The narrative around Meghan's involvement has often been one of controversy. Her introduction at the 2025 Games was no exception, with her speech seemingly unprepared for the gravity of the moment, focusing more on her family life than the athletes' achievements or struggles. This was seen by many as a continuation of a pattern where personal anecdotes or family updates are woven into moments meant to honor others, diluting the focus on those who should be the true stars of the event. Critics argue that this pattern reflects a broader strategy by the Sussexes to leverage any platform, including one as sacred as the Invictus Games, to maintain their public profile. This perception was further fueled by the minimal applause, which, while not a direct condemnation, was a clear signal of the audience's expectations not being met, especially in terms of the event's focus and the respect due to the participants. The fallout from this event could have implications for the future of the Invictus Games under Harry's stewardship. There's a growing concern among some supporters and participants that the focus has shifted from the athletes to the celebrity of the Sussexes. The silence at the opening ceremony might be a call for a return to the Games' original ethos, where the spotlight shines on the courage and recovery of servicemen and women, not on royal drama or personal narratives. In conclusion, while the 2025 Invictus Games were meant to be a celebration of strength and recovery, they turned into a moment of reflection for Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. The lack of applause was not just about one speech or one event, it was a loud statement on the public's expectations and perhaps a reminder of the responsibilities that come with such a platform. Whether this will lead to a change in how the Sussexes approach their public roles, especially in relation to events like the Invictus Games, remains to be seen. However, one thing is clear, the public's patience for celebrity over substance is wearing thin.